Hey everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhouse.boone.com, and today I want to show you how to make a MEI TAI baby carrier. I do want to do a quick disclaimer. Safety is definitely a concern. Baby wearing can be dangerous if you don't know how to do it properly. As always, do all of your research. I cannot tell you what is best for you and your family, but definitely take caution with baby wearing. I personally love it, but you need to know all of the safety concerns. So what Daniel is in here today is a MEI TAI baby carrier. It is an East Asian style of carrier that is essentially a rectangular piece of woven fabric and then 4 straps that come out on each corner. I've also added a hood onto mine for head support when he's sleeping, as well as just for a little additional warmth. It was super simple to sew up. I promise it's a bunch of straight stitches, nothing too crazy. And I love that I was able to make this carrier that's normally pretty expensive for less than $20. So let me show you how I did it. I started with 3 yards of Osnaburg fabric. I used the unbleached and a couple of packets of olive green fabric dye. I will leave all of my sources that I use for this in the description box below. I started this project by first washing and drying my Osnaburg. Now it does say that it is pre-shrunk, the kind that I bought. However, I wanted to be absolutely sure that I wasn't going to be shrinking my wrap later, so I made sure to do that. Then I pressed the fabric so that I had nice straight fabric to work with. Next, I cut out my pieces that I wanted to leave natural. So in this case, I did my 2 hood tie strings, 1 piece for the hood and 1 of the main pieces, and then the 2 little arm pieces here, and set them aside so that they could stay natural. I'm going to be sharing all of the cut measurements here shortly, but I wanted to share with you the process of dyeing so that you would know which order to do things. Next, I dyed the remaining fabric by adding some warm water, my dye packets, and some salt to a stainless steel pot. I just kind of stirred it off and on for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then I put it into the washer to wash out any excess dye. And then I just wrung out the dye with cold water and hung it to dry. Now the reason I didn't want to put it through my washer and dryer at this point is you get a lot of really frayed edges if you do that. Now, if you have plenty of fabric to work with, you could totally do that because you can just cut off the strings. But if you don't, you can just rinse out with your hands. You might want to use gloves, and then hang it to dry before doing the rest of the project. Let me share with you all of the cut measurements. Now you can decide if you want to leave any part natural or dye it, but you'll want to consider that before fully cutting anything. To cut this project out, you'll need 2 19 by 19 inch squares. This is for the main square piece, so if you are leaving one natural and dyeing one, you'll want to consider that. 2 90 inch by 12 inch shoulder straps, 2 60 inch by 7 inch shoulder straps. For the hood, cut 2 pieces 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches. I made mine natural on one side and dyed on the other. 2 18 inch by 1.5 inch hood ties. And 2 3 inch by 1.5 inch little tabs for the shoulder straps. Now this is designed to hold the hood up. Now the order of cutting this out is important if you only have 3 yards of fabric. You'll want to cut the long straps first, so the 90 inch and 60 inch pieces in a row, and then what was left below the 60 inch pieces will work great for the main pieces. Now you need to fold one main piece in half and angle the shoulders and bring it in a little bit on the sides as shown here. So I'm gonna leave this picture here that shows all of the measurements whenever the main piece is folded in half, and just mimic that. Repeat for the other main piece using your main piece that you just cut as the pattern. Next, it's time to prepare all of the straps. To do this, just put a hem down the long sides of all 4 strap pieces. Now a hem is basically just folding the fabric over a 1/2 inch and another 1/2 inch. You can press it or you can just go straight to sewing like I do. I like to skip any steps that I don't feel are absolutely necessary. Also, put a hem in one short end of each strap piece. So now you're going to have hems down the long sides of each strap piece and one short side of each strap piece. So there should be one short side that is completely unfinished on each of the 4 strap pieces. Next, to prepare the hood ties, fold them in half lengthwise and sew down the long edge with about a 1/4 inch seam. At the end, fold the raw edge over to the wrong side, about a 1/2 inch, and then continue sewing down. Using a large safety pin, turn the hood tie piece right side out, and then just top stitch all the way down all 3 finished sides. There will be one unfinished edge, but that will be sewn into the main pieces later, so you don't have to worry about it at this point. Repeat for the other hood tie piece. Next, to prepare the hood, take the 2 12.5 inch square pieces, put them together, and sew with a 1/2 inch seam around 3 sides. You can leave one of the sides completely open because that will be sewn into the main piece later. Turn it right side out and make sure to push the corners out with your fingers. Take your hood piece and sew 1 inch from each of the outside edges. This will make a casing for the hood ties. Next, to get the hood ties into the hood, take 1 inch from the 2 top corners, just pull out a few stitches with a seam ripper so that you have a little opening, and then thread the hood ties through with a large safety pin. Make sure that you leave the finished edge at the top, and the unfinished edges of the ties should be where the unfinished edge of the hood is, because all of that will get tucked inside the carrier. Next, it's time to attach the straps and the hood all inside of the wrap. So lay the main piece out on the table and then take one of the wider straps, so the 12-inch wide one that has been hemmed, and put a pleat in the unfinished edge. Now, to do this, you essentially just fold the fabric in half, find the middle point, and then go out from that a couple of inches and then pull those in to meet in the middle. And that will just reduce the fabric to the size of the shoulder part of the carrier. Now, if you are really scared of pleats, you can also do a gathering stitch. Don't worry about this being perfect. The only goal here is to make the end of the strap line up with the size of the angled top part of the main piece, which I showed you. Repeat with the other 3 straps, using the 2 wide straps for the top shoulder piece and the 2 narrower straps for the bottom. Pin them all in place with the part of the pleat that you want showing facing what you want to be the front of the wrap. So in my case, I wanted the natural Osnaburg to be on the front, so I faced the pleat down against it. This would be the right side, and this would be the right side of the pleat. Next, place your hood in the center of the 2 top straps with the right sides together and pin it in place. With all 4 straps attached to the front main piece and the hood attached to that, go ahead and put the back main piece on top of that so that all of that bulk is sandwiched in between. It'll feel a little bit funny because it's all gonna be inside, but you're gonna pull it out and all the raw edges will be hidden after this step. So in my case, the back of the main carrier is the green piece, so I placed the green on top and then just pinned it with all of the straps and the hood inside. Next, just sew around the outside edge of the main pieces of the carrier. I went around mine twice for extra stability and to make sure that my straps weren't going to come out, which would not be good. Then I just pulled everything all out so that the wrong sides were in and the right sides were out. And then just top stitch around the whole carrier. Now that top stitch also does close up the bottom hole that everything was pulled out from so that all the raw edges are nicely hidden inside. Next, take the 1.5 by 3 inch pieces and fold them in half with right sides together, just like you did for the hood tie pieces, and sew them inside the pleats of the top strap pieces. I put mine inside the pleats so that you won't be able to really see them as much. And it's a really convenient place to tie the straps for the hood. Now, if you've never tied a MEI Tai, make sure to refer to my video on how to tie a MEI Tai. I'll leave a link in the description box below. All of these instructions and the picture with the pattern piece are all over on my blog, farmhouseonboone.com. I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to save this for later, for something you want to make later. I'll also leave links for the Osnaburg fabric that I used and the olive green fabric dye. You can imagine all the different possibilities. You could make this in 2 different dyed colors. You could do a blue in the spot where the green is. I just love DIYing things because of all the options you have for customizing it and making it beautiful. Well, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you're brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I make 2 new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse.